What's up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster. And one of the most insufferable things in the world is watching someone behave performatively in front of a crowd. I despise the sort of person who acts in an inauthentic way just to toady up to a bunch of people, which is precisely what it seems like Nintendo is doing.
This diva needs her stage! Shut up!
The Nintendo Switch 2 has been released, and as a Japanese company, Nintendo ought to be isolated from the Western progressive gender crap that has proliferated the gaming industry. They ought to have quite the buffer, and they ought to be able to just make games and not worry about that sort of thing. After all, these woke types spend just about every waking hour championing non-Western cultures as if they can do no wrong, so Nintendo should be immune to criticism from them.
Well, April Fool, dumbass!
Yeah, you'd think that would be the case, but apparently it isn't true. Nintendo has kowtowed to the gender politics at a base level on their new console. It looks as though the Mii characters are now being made genderless.
I have seen everything that has ever happened, ever will happen, ever could happen, and yet, what the hell is this?
Yeah, we thought we'd seen it all, but Nintendo appears to have bowed down and listened to the woke bozos who run Nintendo of America these days. They, as a company, are once again utterly late to the party on this sort of thing, considering how far gamers have veered away from these politics in recent years. But Nintendo has stubbornly steered into it, making the system virtually unplayable for a lot of us. It seems that they refuse to take the side of the gamers who love their products and just want to play their games.
I'll never join you!
So be it.
Dumbass. Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so yet, and consider supporting the channel by becoming a member for as little as $5 per month. Channel members got early access to the audiobook of the first part of the novel that I wrote, a dark fantasy story called The Darkest Heritage. Speaking of which, I'm releasing that initial audiobook to the general public tomorrow afternoon, narrated by me, so look for that. I've gotten great feedback on the book thus far, and the entire book will be available to purchase on Amazon very soon. But alrighty then, let's look at this Switch 2 situation and how they are marrying themselves to DEI crap. We got word a few weeks back that Nintendo of America was still committing themselves to DEI principles despite talk from a lot of these other companies out there who are abandoning the hell out of this stuff. It's amazing how just about everything that I hear coming out of Nintendo these days makes things worse. I have been a big Nintendo fan for literal decades now, and it makes me sad to think that I'm just not excited about the Switch 2 at all. The $80 games wasn't a guaranteed non-starter for me or anything like that. It definitely made me pay attention and think that maybe these guys, particularly with the way that they addressed gamers who complained about the $80 games, it made me think that maybe this isn't the company that it used to be. But I figured that if Nintendo brought their absolute A game to the table, then maybe everything would be okay. But what I am hearing about Mario Kart World is that the whole thing can be beaten in just a few hours. Despite all the exploration that they brag about in the game, it does not take long to finish it, making it pretty damned hard to justify that exorbitant price tag. And what is amusing is how there still aren't reviews on Metacritic for Mario Kart. There has been talk that Nintendo was preventing early reviews with their review embargo, which makes it seem seem like they don't have any confidence, but even now that the system and the game is officially released to the public, at the time of this recording, there are a dozen reviews on Metacritic, but none of them have given any scores. Most of them say that they are basing their reviews only on the hands-on impressions that they got from demos. So, it sounds like Nintendo was extremely selective about who they allowed to play their game early. Once again, this does not speak to a very high level of confidence in their product. And speaking of a lack of confidence, the fact that Nintendo buckled and made Mii's genderless is absolutely ridiculous. Look at this post on X. They've got a photo of the Mii creation system, and above the two Mii characters there, it says you can select a style for your Mii, and then beneath the characters, it says the style you select for your Mii might be reflected in a specific gender in some software. So, this is just pandering then. Because let me ask a question. If the damn system and games are still coded exactly the same as if there is a male and female option, then what is the freaking point of not calling them males and females and having them be genderless Mii characters? Why do that if it isn't simply to pander to lunatics? For perspective, the Mii have been a part of the Nintendo ecosystem since the Nintendo Wii came out all the way back in 2006. That is damn near 20 years, and it has never been a problem before, this idea of male and female genders being assigned to the Miis. It hasn't been a problem because that is, of course, how the majority of people view the world. But for some reason, these Japanese companies like Nintendo keep getting convinced that they need to bow to the woke crowd in America. And Nintendo's own survey data, which I have cited many times, tells us how pointless all of this is. This graphic here represents the results of a survey that Nintendo themselves put out several months ago showing the age and gender data of the people who played the original Switch. And look at those numbers. Only 3% of the people playing on Nintendo Switch did not have a gender. So, it turns out that Nintendo is pandering to 14% of their customer base. And what do I mean by that? Where do I get the 14%? Well, gender politics is, ironically, a deeply feminine way of looking at the world. It's the politics of pretending you're being nice to everyone because you don't want to hurt anyone's fifis, at least not directly to their face. So, this policy is pandering to the 3% of people on this survey who said they were genderless and the 11% of people who said they are female. But you know who doesn't give a rat's ass about all of this progressive slop? Males. We don't give a shit about this, not at all, unless you are shoving it in our faces, and then we only care about it just long enough to tell you where to stick it. This right here, this decision to make the Miis genderless is just poor marketing. 86% of the people using the original Switch were dudes, and rather than tailor something to that overwhelming portion of the customer base, Nintendo thought they should try to entice new people by doing this genderless Mii thing. They're taking for granted the people who have supported them for a long time, and the worst thing is that it's likely they will scarcely feel the negative effects of this decision. There are far too many cultural auto-intake zombies out there who will buy any new Nintendo system unquestioningly. The Switch 2 will sell out like gangbusters, but as for me, for the first time ever, I'm just not very excited about a new Nintendo. I literally own every single console ever made by the company, but I'm finding it difficult to pull the trigger on this one. In any event, I'm gonna leave it there. What do you think of the Switch 2? Are you planning to buy it? Drop your thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.